Alright you guys, well today I have for you this 2013 Subaru Outback. We'll take you around this car, take it on a little test drive. I've always thought these cars were kind of cool. Not quite a station wagon, not quite an SUV, kind of a happy medium. And I think it does have pretty good styling, especially for being a 2013. We will pop the trunk and show you the cargo area real quick. This car is a little bit lower to the ground compared to a more traditional SUV. So it's not as tall back here as it would be in like a normal Toyota RAV4 or something like that. But it is still pretty good back here. You do get a spare tire under this carpet. But yeah, decent storage. No power tailgate in this. This is a 2.5i premium, so it is like the middle trim level. Hop into the back here, and it actually has really good legroom back here. Very good legroom, really can't complain at all. Good space. You do got cup holders, not many other amenities, but it's good space at least. These seats have kind of an interesting folding mechanism. The control is right here. You can't fold them down from the cargo area. But we'll hop out of here. We'll show you guys the engine really quick. All right, so this is the 2.5 liter flat 4 engine. It makes 173 horsepower and 174 pound-feet of torque. It is paired to a CVT. They did make a 3.6 liter flat 6 cylinder engine that made something like 256 horsepower. But this was the volume engine. This is what everybody got, just the flat 4. But we'll close up the hood, we'll hop inside. This is the key for it, by the way. No push to start in this 2013 Subaru Outback, but we'll start it up. All right, and that flat 4 engine does have a very unique type of sound to it. The engine is a little bit loud, especially when cold. I wasn't expecting that. It's a bit of a louder, more kind of grainy sounding engine. And this interior, you know, there's not much to really go over here. You just got your basic radio controls right here, basic climate controls, easy to figure out. You do have a shifter. And if you go into reverse, you do have a backup camera in the rear view mirror, which is pretty interesting. But we'll go into park right there. You do got heated seats for driver and passenger to level. You also get a sunroof in here. So you do get some nice luxury features for this just being like kind of the middle trim level. The 2.5i Limited gave you leather seats and a few extra features, but you get mostly what you want in this car. Heated seats, sunroof, auto dimming mirror, all those like nice luxury features. It's not super upmarket in here or anything. There is a lot of kind of hard plastic, but it's decent. I like the silver accents in this car. It's pretty unique. You got cruise control, you got volume and tune controls. Very simple gauge setup right here. You also got your electronic e-brake right here, which is nice to have. These cloth seats are decently comfortable. They're pretty soft to sit in. You do got a center console. It's decent storage. You have a power outlet and another power outlet right there. And also a little aux port in there. But we'll get this thing out on the road. We'll talk about how it drives here. All right. So setting off in this 2013 Subaru Outback. We'll get out on the road right here. All right. So one thing you kind of notice from this car is it's not very fast. It's definitely not a fast vehicle. It's pretty slow, to be honest. 173 horsepower really isn't that much in a heavier SUV like this. And also, cars today are just a lot peppier. We've gotten so spoiled with such quick, responsive cars. But this was, you know, normal back 10, 15 years ago. The steering is actually surprisingly weighty in this. It's like heavy. It's surprisingly firm steering, but that doesn't necessarily translate to sporty. It's still a little bit slow to react. It's not quite as precise as I'd like it to be. But it's decent, you know, it's not too bad. The throttle response is kind of soft. You kind of have to put your foot into it a decent amount to get moving. We'll pull out onto this road right here. All right. Yeah, it's not very inspiring, to be honest. Engine is kind of loud. I'm not crazy about the sound of these Subaru Boxer engines. They sound kind of grainy to me. And that CVT is just not very responsive. Brakes are pretty smooth though. Just accelerating. You kind of, if you want to get up and go quickly, you have to like really step on it. And CVT is definitely not the quickest responding, especially at the beginning of the rev range. It kind of takes a few seconds to really put the power down. Yeah, like just stepping on it right there, definitely hesitated a little bit. Your outward visibility is pretty good though. I mean, you get a clear view of the road. You feel like you're decently high off the ground in this car. Considering it's not quite a full SUV, you still get like a nice seating position in here. The pedals in here, they're both pretty soft. Gas pedal doesn't quite have that laser precise sharp feeling you get in some cars. It does take some effort to get the car to respond to your inputs. And the brake pedal, the brakes are very smooth and very refined, I'd say, but the pedal itself is kind of mushy feeling, not the quickest responding. So yeah, you can pretty much tell right away this car isn't really built for sporty driving, spirited driving, that kind of thing. It's just not really made for that. When you're just driving casually around town though, it's a pretty good car. It's pretty comfortable, it's easy to drive. It doesn't really give you any issues, any problems. The ride quality is decently smooth. It's a little bit slightly crashy over bumps, but for the most part, very smooth, very settled, very compliant ride you get in here. And it builds speed decently, like in the mid-range. You know, it can get up and move when it wants to. We'll try this corner right here. And it handles okay. You know, there's not much body lean actually in the corners. Feels pretty controlled around the turn. And I am surprised at this heavy type of steering you get in here. I wasn't expecting that really. But like I said, you know, while the steering is heavy, it's not really sporty, if that makes sense. Handling, you know, it's normal. A little bit soft, but definitely not like floaty or unstable feeling. It feels totally fine, totally normal. Try this other corner. And yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty consistent, pretty controlled. We'll try out our turning radius in this neighborhood. All right, just gonna cut the wheel all the way. Actually a good turning radius. It's pretty sharp. So good on that. Not crazy about this CVT though. Just not crazy about how it puts the power down. It's just kind of laggy, kind of lethargic a bit. When you really step on it, it goes okay, but for just normal use, it's a little lethargic, but it handles okay. Try this other turn. It actually, you know, handles okay. It's not bad. Feels pretty car-like. As you would expect, you know, I didn't expect this car to handle badly or anything. It's about what you'd expect, you know, pretty car-like, decently maneuverable. Not like exciting or thrilling, obviously. But it is a decently relaxing car to drive. It's smooth, it's easy to control. It doesn't have like the quietest road noise. You hear more engine and more wind noise than some other cars. But it's a decent car. I don't mind driving it really. But we'll take this thing on the highway here, show you what that's all about. Alright, you know, it gets up there. It's definitely not the slowest I've driven. Try some passing power. It passes okay. It performs pretty well at highway speeds, to be honest. do get a lot of wind noise at highway speeds, I notice. But for the most part, yeah, it just cruises down the highway pretty smoothly. But we'll take it back on the highway here, going back the other way. We'll try a more normal acceleration. All right, yeah, it takes its time a little bit, but it does get there eventually. It's really not bad. I wasn't crazy about this car when I first drove it, but it does kind of grow on me a little bit. It's pretty relaxing to drive. It's easy to drive. It doesn't really stress you out or anything. It's all just very natural, very calming. We'll try this off-ramp here, see how it does. All right, you know, it's honestly not bad. It's going pretty quick, actually, around this turn. Felt pretty consistent, pretty controlled doing that. So yeah, it can hold its own a little bit. CVT does have a little bit of a jerk to it sometimes when I go to start out. All right, you guys, well, that about covers the 2013 Subaru Outback. You know, it's pretty interesting. I wasn't expecting the steering to be as heavy as it is. Surprisingly, like, firm steering to it. A little bit basic on the interior. You do get some of those nice features like heated seats, the sunroof. You got a decent backup camera. You know, it's tiny in that mirror, but it works. It does its job. Pretty lackluster in the acceleration, I'll say. CVT isn't very sporty, so not like a sporty powertrain to it, not quite an out of this world driving experience. It's a car, basically. It's not bad, it's not out of this world. It's about just average in like every category. It's decently maneuverable, it handles okay, fairly pleasant and smooth, easy going to drive, but it's not gonna really shock you or wow you in any particular way. But all right, we'll shut it off and we'll hop out. All right, thanks for watching.